We all know Albert Einstein as the genius with wild hair and the man behind the famous equation EMC2. But what you may not know is that Einstein's journey was anything but easy. He struggled, he failed, he was misunderstood, yet he became one of the most celebrated minds in history. So what happened? This is the story of how Albert Einstein defied expectations, overcame every obstacle, and won a Nobel Prize. The slow child. Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879, in Ulm, Germany. Right from the start, he didn't fit the usual mold. He didn't talk until he was nearly 4 years old. His parents were concerned. Some even feared he might have a learning disability. In school, things didn't improve. He was quiet, introverted, and questioned everything. One of his teachers reportedly said, "He will never amount to anything." Einstein hated the rigid school system in Germany. It didn't encourage creativity or imagination, two things that were deeply important to him. But here's the thing. Einstein was always curious. He loved puzzles, especially ones about light, time, and the universe. So, while others saw a boy falling behind, he was quietly building the foundation for ideas that would later shock the world. The rebel mind. By the age of 15, Einstein had dropped out of school altogether. He moved to Switzerland to find a more liberal education. He applied to the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich and failed the entrance exam. But he didn't quit. He spent a year studying and tried again. This time, he got in. Even during college, Einstein didn't stand out. Professors didn't like his attitude. He often skipped class, preferred studying alone, and questioned established ideas. When he graduated, no one would hire him, not even for a teaching assistant job. The great Albert Einstein, jobless. Eventually, he landed a role at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave him time and quiet to think. The Miracle Year. In 1905, Einstein was 26 and still a nobody in the scientific community. But that year, now known as his Annus Mirabilis, or Miracle Year, he published 4 groundbreaking papers. Yes, 4 in 1 year. Each one could have made a career on its own. One explained the photoelectric effect, how light behaves like particles. Another introduced the theory of special relativity. One proved the existence of atoms. And then came the bombshell, EMC2. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. With this, Einstein showed that mass and energy are the same, just in different forms. It was revolutionary. But recognition didn't come instantly. The long road to the Nobel. Despite his discoveries, Einstein was not showered with awards. Years passed. His work was too radical for many. Some even mocked it. Meanwhile, Einstein kept pushing boundaries. He published General Relativity in 1915, a theory that described gravity not as a force, but as the warping of space and time itself. Scientists were skeptical until 1919. That year, a solar eclipse experiment proved that starlight bent around the sun, just as Einstein predicted. Overnight, he became a global celebrity. But even then, the Nobel Prize eluded him. It wasn't until 1921 that he was finally awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics, not for relativity, but for the photoelectric effect. Even in victory, Einstein's path was unique, but he didn't care about fame. What mattered to him was truth, curiosity, wonder. Beyond the prize, Einstein spent the rest of his life pursuing knowledge, teaching, and speaking out for peace and civil rights. He moved to the United States, taught at Princeton, and refused to support the development of the atomic bomb, despite his equation being used in it. He believed in imagination over memorization, in questions over answers, in peace over power. Albert Einstein wasn't just a physicist. He was a philosopher, a rebel, and a symbol of what's possible when we ignore the noise and follow our own path. Final message. Einstein once said, "Everybody is a genius." But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid. He was living proof that failure in school doesn't mean failure in life. That thinking differently can lead to breakthroughs. That true success isn't about fitting in. It's about standing out. So if you feel misunderstood, if you're struggling, if the world tells you you can't, remember Einstein and keep going. If this story inspired you, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs it, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories of resilience and genius.